Hello, Jack here with River Cat Blues. Kind of got my phone down lower mounted, so I'm having to bend over to talk. But I am going to talk about rod holders today, especially bank rod holders is mainly what I want to cover today. I got a little something that I do want to show you that I think is kind of neat. I mean, I came up with it kind of by accident. I'll explain that here in just a few minutes, but I'm going to put my glasses on here, my nerdy glasses here, so I can see a little better up close. I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to show you some of the bank rod holders that we're using. This one here is just a homemade, this is just a little homemade bank rod holder, just a steel pipe, PVC pipe. I believe this is 1.5 inches. You can use 1.25 inches if you want, but just make sure that the butt of your rod is, not too big for it to go down in. I just have a steel radiator clamps, hose clamps, holding this here onto this pipe. We just covered it with some duct tape to kind of keep your hands from getting cut or scratched up on the metal clamps. Real simple, nothing fantastic. I do have. I have this one capped. You don't have to have them capped. You can leave them open so that your rod will go all the way through. I drive this all the way down with a hammer, all the way down into to the bank, almost to this, so a bigger fish won't pull it over. Just leave just a little bit of pipe sticking up above this so you'll have something to hammer on so that you don't hit your pipe here. Enough about that one. I'm going to show you some bottom ones here now. Of course, this little bank rod holder here is not for big fish. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think the boys used to use this a little bit for channel cat. I don't even think they use this much anymore. But just kind of push this one down into the ground, and they work okay if you're catching smaller fish, or you can set your bait clicker on. You can set your rod in a holder like this, even if you're fishing for bigger fish. Just put your bait clicker on it, and works perfect. No issues there whatsoever. This little spring one here, you can buy at Walmart. Another small rod holder for small fish. Not a whole lot there. Okay, I'm going to show some of the bigger spring ones here. This one is a Davidson. It's a little heavier in case you are fishing for some bigger fish. Bigger hole to get your rod butts down in. I've caught big fish on this one. If I am actually trying to target some bigger fish with some big baits or whatever, I probably wouldn't go too far away from this one where you can get to it. It is a spring, it'll pull over, but I've actually never had this one rip out of the ground, but I've always been close enough, when the rod goes over, I get there quick and grab it. Little heavier spring one yet. This is actually the heaviest spring rod holder that we've got. A little bigger, you can put an awful big rod in here. These work pretty well. Actually, these work real well. You can throw these in your backpack, they're light. However far you're gonna walk, it won't matter. Throw them in your bucket, whatever you wanna do. Push these down into the mud. These work pretty well. I'm not too nervous about leaving my rod in these, but I still probably wouldn't walk a quarter-mile away from them. I just don't, some of those big fish, they can pull. If you got your drag set maybe a little heavy, they can pull. Okay, this is my favorite bank rod holder. I've talked about this one before. This is by Cat Force 1. Very heavy duty rod holder. I mean, you're not gonna bend this one. You're not gonna break this one. It's pretty long. Never had a fish even come close to pulling this out of the ground. Step on this and push it down in the ground, and I'll even take a hammer and tap on this too. It may scratch it a little, but I really don't care about that. And he's got a sticker on here, which I didn't realize he did. I've kind of wiped the mud off of it. I'm gonna let you see if you can read that so that you'll know. He is on Facebook. Get it right up here. Cat Force 1, he's on Facebook. I'll turn it slow. I don't know if you can read all that, but probably not. But anyway, you might want to check him out. If you're into bank fishing, I highly recommend these for bigger fish. It's just, I really like them. Now, they are heavy. They're heavy duty, heavy rod holder. If you're going very far, if you're gonna pack 4 or 5 of these, you probably want the bigger backpack to throw these in, because they'll get heavy if you have to go very far. But when you get there, this is what I want. This is what I want. All right. Now I'm gonna get into something here. The title of this video was using Driftmaster Monster Rod Holders. Also, I've got some fish bite rod holders. Off the boat to the bank. Can it be done? Yes, it can. I'm gonna show you how. This is a T fence post. They call them T fence post. You can buy this at Lowe's, Menards, wherever, Tractor Supply, wherever you want to get them. They're cheap. They're not the real heavy T post. They're a cheaper T post. I usually buy the 5-foot models, and I just cut them. And then you can cut them to whatever length you decide you want to cut them to use them. These are a little tricky to use, but here's how I come up with this. One day, me and my youngest boy was wanting to go fishing. My oldest boy had already left. I wasn't sure where he'd went, some river somewhere, local river. So we come out to the barn to get our rods and a rod holders bank. We're going to fish for the bank, and couldn't find enough bank rod holders. The oldest boy had taken just about every one of them, I think, with him earlier that morning to go fishing. So we didn't have enough, and he's like, you know, what are we gonna do, Dad? And I said, well, I don't wanna go to town. I mean, I'm ready to go fishing. So I got to looking at my boats, and I was just kind of looking at them. I'm like, wait a minute, they got rod holders all over them. There's gotta be some way to use them. Here it is. Monster rod holder. This is what they call the 1/2 inch. You want the 1/2 inch because the 3/8 I think is gonna be a little bit too little for what I'm getting ready to show you. Just take the rod holder. These are grooved out. You can see how it's got the little groove in the fence. And I just cut this off with a hacksaw to make it shorter. You take this, she sets right inside that groove. Right in there. Now you can take radiator clamps, hose clamps if you want. They're definitely stronger than what I'm getting ready to show you. And you know, just put them around. I put one up here maybe and one down here, tighten them up, and you're ready to go. The thing is, before you put these in the ground though, you don't want this on because you got to pound this down in the ground. So go ahead and put this wherever you're going to fish. Pound this down in the ground. I just use a little hammer. Just pound it down as far as you want to go. Then you're going to put this on, and then you can clamp it if you want with the radiator hose clamps. But I'm actually trying something different, and we're gonna try it out today. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna be pretty strong. It may not. I may bust up everything, but I'm gonna try zip ties. Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but bear with me for a minute. You can buy a pack of zip ties, 100 pack off of eBay for, I don't know, maybe $9 or $10, and 100 pack will last you a long time because you get one application with this if you're using zip ties. You know, you put your zip ties on, you're holding this in with your zip ties, you do your fishing, you're ready to quit. You can yank it up, whatever. But if you decide to move spots, you might be able to push this back in the ground, but I like to get them far in the ground. I'm not gonna hammer my monster rod to get it down in the ground. I'm not gonna mess up this rod holder. So I got my cutters, cut the zip ties, they're off, you throw them away. So then you go to the other spot, pound this down, put this back on, put 2 or 3 more zip ties back on, you're ready to go. Now get the heavy zip ties. I've got 120s. These are 120 pounds, okay? Because we all know how hard those big fish can pull. Driftmaster, 1/2 inch, exact same size as the monster rods. There you go. Now the reason I'm using the 1/2 inch is you want a little bit sticking out past this point right here, so that when you do put your clamps, you can actually put it further down if you want. Get her down in there, and you got still some sticking out. When you put your clamps around here, you're actually pushing this into this groove. If it was like a 3/8, I think it might be too loose in here. I'm not sure it would hold it right. But you want it in there, and you want them clamps to clamp tight. You want them tight. Okay, I use some rod holders by Fish Bite. Fishbite. He's on eBay too. These are his. They're not bad either. All about the same, they're strong. The half inch goes right in, exact same thing. You're ready to go. Now, how strong are these? We're gonna find out, because I ain't real sure if they'll hold the type of fish that we all are fishing for. I haven't used them a whole lot. We went fishing that day. I zip tied them, caught some fish, nothing big. Nothing big enough that I'm worried about anyway. Okay, I have, you can see, got the side by side in here. I have one of these fence posts and a fish bite rod holder C-clamped to the front of that. Now, I did not C-clamp this part that's holding here. This is nothing but zip ties. And we're gonna go look at it if they hold. If they bust, you're gonna see that too. And then I'll know that I'm gonna have to use the radiator hose clamps all the time. But I was just trying to find some faster way. Instead of screwing around the screwdriver, you know, and trying to get them tight and whatever. Just throw your zip tie around them, pull it tighter than heck, put 2 or 3 of them on it, hopefully it'll hold. Well, let's find out. Okay. The first test I've got, a Garcia 7000, a 10-foot bank rod ugly stick. I like to use the big surf rods on the bank. You can throw them 6 miles, catfish day, 6 miles. And it's just, you know, if this will hold this, if it'll hold this, it's gonna hold your smaller rods probably too. So let's stick this in. I'm gonna put some pressure on this thing. I've got the drag set pretty heavy on this one. Got the clicker set. I've got the clicker on, but we're gonna leave the drag system on too. Okay, we're gonna stick this in there. All right, as soon as we're done with this, if this don't bust off and you see it all hit the ground, which I hope it don't, because I don't want to mess my Garcia up. But if it doesn't hit the ground, we're gonna go up and look at it, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I got it set up. Those zip ties is the only thing that's holding this rod holder on there. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna ease it over like those big fish do. Here we go. If it breaks, it breaks. I want to know too. Put some more pressure down on it. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I got the drag set heavy. There it goes. Strip and drag. Oh boy. Okay. Put the clicker off. Okay, it held that one. All right, now we're just going to a 6600 BCX catfish ugly stick. I've got the drag set on this one, decently heavy, not super heavy. Let's see if it holds this one over. Got her messed up there. Let's see what happens there. All right, we're gonna pull, well, let me get it straight here. I want to get the rod straight. I can't stand the rod that's crooked. Can't stand the rod that's crooked in rod holders when I'm fishing. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got on this one. There it goes. Pull and drag, pull and drag. Okay, we held that one. Now the real test is coming up, people. I want to know what this thing is going to do if I get my 50 or 60 pound fish on there. I don't want to lose all my stuff into the river. I want to know if this is going to hold. I got a heavy rod Shimano. This is a heavy Shimano, a pin 309. Drag is set pretty heavy on this, 60 pound test. I'm going to turn the clicker on. Let's see if it holds it. Here we go. Maybe. Get her all untangled there. All right, I'm going to pull it off. Let's see if it'll hold this baby here. I don't know. This may do her in. Let's see. Here we go. Good gosh. I'm almost on the ground. Oh no, wait. There it goes. Okay. It held everything, but I'm still not satisfied with it. I'm gonna tighten this drag down just a little bit more. I'm gonna try to bust it this time. You know how those summertime blue cats feeling frisky, you get a big 50 or 60 that hits like a ton of brick on your big old skipjack head, he about rips it out of your boat rod holder, right? We're gonna do that. Let's see what happens. Tighten her up. Oh, all right. If it holds this one, I think we're good, people. All right. We all know how them fish hit. He tap, man. He'll tap, 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 and oh, he's hooked. He gone. Oh my God. Woo. Oh, okay. All right, let's go. Let's go take a look at it. I'm gonna take the phone off the, bear with me a minute. Unplug everything. Okay. Now there's my setup. You can see I've got that 120 pound zip ties right there. I got 3 of them on here. This is below the rod holder. It's not holding it. This is an old fish bite rod holder here. It's a 1/2 inch. The only thing is, you know, these will turn a little bit if you try turning them in here. They're not super tight here. Let me get back here. This will turn a little bit, but if you put some radiator clamps on here, I think you're good to go. I think it's going to work, people. All right. This is River Cat Blues signing out. I was hoping the boys could be here maybe to help me do this video. Get rid of these nerdy glasses. I was hoping they could be here today, but I think they're out chasing snow geese today. They do a lot of hunting this time of year. A lot of hunting. They chase deer, of course that season's over. They chase squirrel, you name it. They chase coyotes. There's a coyote laying on the floor in here that they have to skin. Right there, if you can see it. But anyway, they chase a lot of things. They chase girls too, but we're not getting into that. They're in high school. We all know how high school was. So anyway, this is River Cat Blues. I'm signing off. Rods down.